Hey everyone, and welcome to r/chill, where we look at some of the best stories found on the internet. Today we're back in r/EntitledParents, looking at posts that have unfolded over the past couple of weeks in real time on Reddit. Trust me, these two stories are really good, so grab a coffee, put on your seatbelt, and get ready to enjoy the ride. EM breaks into my backyard to use my swimming pool. I just recently had a new family move into my neighborhood. The neighborhood is relatively small and close-knit. The kind of neighborhood where everyone knows each other and we generally all get along well. We have big block parties and shoot off fireworks together on holidays. The new family is a middle-aged couple with their 4 children. The kids' ages range around 14 to 2. This incident is just the first of several problems that I have had with this family since they moved in. The cast is EM, the crazy mother, K1, one of her kids and around 14 years old, and me, the one and only me. I was hanging around in the living room, just relaxing and watching TV. From the couch, I have a clear view into my backyard. That's when I notice the retractable cover of my swimming pool begin to roll up. I was home alone, and no one else has access to my backyard. For insurance reasons, I have a lock on my back gate because of the pool. The gate always remains locked, as we would be liable if anything was to happen in the yard. I rush outside and see what was going on. That's when I see EM standing next to my pool with her 4 children. They're dressed in their swimsuits and EM is rolling up the cover of the pool. Excuse me, what do you think you're doing in my backyard? My kids have been well behaved today and they want to go for a swim. I saw you have a pool, so we're going to go for a dip. This isn't a public pool, EM, and you're on my private property. I need you to get out of my backyard now. I never told you that you're allowed to come on my property without permission. Who the hell do you think you are? It's a very hot day and my kids want to go for a swim, and they will. Not in my private pool, they won't. How did you even get in my yard anyway? The gate's locked. F off! In my old neighborhood, we did this all the time. My kids are going for a swim now, and you won't even know we're here. You're just being selfish, and I will not allow my babies to suffer because of your bad mood. Me, now angry. I won't ask again, EM. You either get the hell off my property now, or I will call the police. You're not using my pool, and that's final. EM, who finally gets the cover off. Okay, kids, jump on in. Don't listen to this stupid bee. Yeah, you stupid bee. We're going for a swim now and you can't stop us. That's it. I'm calling the police. EM now sees that I'm serious and tries to reason with me. You would really not allow 4 kids to go for a swim on a hot day? What kind of a heartless person are you? Just let us go swimming for an hour and we'll leave. Don't you want to be a good neighbor to us? No, I do not. You just broke into my backyard without permission. Please get off my property now. EM starts to mumble something to her kids, and then she grabs her 2 youngest kids and starts to walk out of my yard. I then turn around and see her 2 oldest boys still standing by the pool. I start to walk over to tell them to go with EM, and that's when I see what they're doing. Her 2 oldest hellspawns are peeing into my pool. Maybe that will teach you to be a better neighbor, you stupid bee. Me grabs the arm of the 2 oldest and pushes them out the gate. Get the F off my property, you disgusting little pieces of poop. Don't you dare lay a hand on my babies or I'll call the police on you. Who do you think they'll believe? A good mummy or a pathetic little bee like you? You just got what you deserve. Enjoy swimming in your pee pool. Then they all walk off laughing as they went back to their house. I was in complete shock and didn't know what to do. I now wish I called the police after this first incident, but I sadly did not, and things have since escalated with this family. Remember how I said that I had a lock on the gate? I later found it broken on the ground. I have no idea what they used to smash it, but they were successful. I've since purchased a more heavy-duty lock. And here is the follow-up to that story. I came home from shopping the next day and found that EM went into my backyard a second time. I was out at the hardware store buying a new lock for the gate when this occurred. Before I had left to go shopping, I asked my elderly neighbor to keep an eye out for EM just in case. Here's what my neighbor told me happened. She said that EM and her kids were in my yard playing with my family's lawn games. We have several such as lawn darts, ladder ball, a fake axe throwing game, etc. She didn't know how long they had been in the yard, but when she noticed them, she went onto her deck and told them to leave. After making a fuss again, they complied and left. Apparently, a lot of swearing and a full-blown tantrum was involved. I went into the yard to investigate and see if anything had been taken. Nothing was taken, but most of the games had damaged. A few darts were snapped, an axe was broken, and my inflatable unicorn float for the pool was popped. I was livid at this point, and I couldn't believe this happened again. I spoke to my parents about this incident, and I wanted to call the police. My parents told me not to bother though, that it was just cheap stuff and that I should let it go. They told me that the police wouldn't care about something so trivial. Ultimately, they were the homeowners, so it was not my decision. I made it a point of taking all the broken pieces and throwing them over her front lawn. A few bags of dog waste included for some extra fun. Event 3. The entitled kids went into another elderly neighbor's front garden and picked almost every one of her flowers. She had a beautiful garden with roses and other expensive flowers in it. It was my neighbor's pride and joy. She'd been working on that garden ever since I was a child. I was walking my dog when I found her crying in her garden and she cleaned up the mess. When she told me the story of what happened, it broke my heart. I asked her if she was going to call the police and she said she already had. They had come earlier in the day and had gone over to talk to EM. EM defended her kids' actions by saying that it was her birthday and the entitled kids thought she deserved a beautiful present. Wasn't that lovely of them? She even proudly showed the bouquet off to the police officers. The police didn't do anything other than give her a verbal warning and file a report. The further this goes, the more entitled these kids seem and the more crazy this mum seems for not controlling her kids and justifying their actions. Event 4. The neighborhood has a park only 3 houses down from EM's home. Instead of walking there like a normal person, she would load her kids up in the car and drive them over. There isn't a parking lot at this park and most people who drive there will park on the side of the road. Not EM though. She will run over the curb and park directly beside the children's playground equipment. She has done this numerous times regardless of if there are a couple of people at the playground. She'll just honk her horn at you and scream for you to move. I have a video and pictures of her doing this. For the purpose of keeping this anonymous, I'm not going to post them as our park has a unique setup. Some of the other neighborhood parents were obviously furious over her actions and she was confronted about her behavior. I stood with them watching as I was walking my dog at the time and I was very curious to see how this ended. They told her she could hit a child or animal by doing this. She just started saying we were racist and that we were harassing her. She then went and called the police on us. She was acting very smug by doing this and seemed genuinely proud of herself. She told the group that we were going to be sorry for the way we treated her since she moved in. As soon as the police came, she began to cry and claim that we had all been harassing her for weeks. She made up a whole bunch of lies about things we had done to her. She even threw herself onto the ground and acted like a child. 2 of her kids joined in on this tantrum and the others just continued to play. The police interviewed everyone who was present and it was very clear that she was wrong in this situation. The police pulled her aside and talked to her. She was given a very hefty ticket for reckless driving and she was told that if this happened again, she would be charged. For once, she was silent and just left with her kids. To my knowledge, she has not done this again since. That is all I have time to tell you about right now, and I better get back to work before my boss notices. I wish I had more time to tell you everything that has happened, but I promise to update again soon. But unfortunately, we have not had an update since, and I'm really curious if this entitled parent will keep going with her behavior. And I'm also not sure if she thinks she's getting treated badly now. What happened in her previous neighborhood? Did everyone just accept that sort of behavior? And now a story that sounds possibly even worse. I've married an entitled parent. I've been thinking about writing this for a while, but since the most stupid discussion I've ever had happened tonight, I've just got to get this out. So quick backstory, I married my current wife, EP, and she had 3 kids prior to us meeting. EK1, EK2, and EK3, all 13, 12, and 10. We have 2 kids together who, as of writing this, aren't entitled brats. For how young they are, they're quite good. A few years ago, EK1 decided to make up stories about me to his teachers, saying I've been abusing him and his siblings. Child Services did a thorough investigation and found it to be all made up, and ever since I've kept my distance from any parental roles. I have to admit, I find their entitlement incredibly annoying and lose my temper from time to time. Most of the time though, I just walk away. Also, don't know how relevant, but the biological dad ED has been out of the picture until 2 years ago, and has since won enough custody and refuses to work, so we have to pay him child support, even though the kids are with us more than half the time. Here's the story from today. Due to how our routines work, it's up to me to get the little kids ready each morning. I also take them to their respective school and daycare. However, all 3 entitled kids are expected to get themselves ready and catch their buses. EK1 always leaves to go to his grandparents because he gets to make a lunch consisting of nothing but sugar. EK2 usually follows, but didn't this morning. Instead, he thought it was a great idea to just stuff about. I don't prompt them or tell them what to do because, as their EM says, you can't force them, they have to want to do the right thing. So I'm going about my business, not really paying attention to them, then out of the blue, EK2 starts yelling at me. You jerk, you should have told me how late it was. Now I'm going to miss my bus. This is all your fault. You idiot, you suck. This tirade goes on for a while. I ignore it, but in my head, I'm getting angrier and angrier. I call his grandmother and tell her to take him to school as she works there. I call and let him know what happened, and this is the text I got. Sorry, EK2 got cross at you this morning. I just think you need to let it go. We know he's stressed, he doesn't deal with things properly. Perhaps I talk to him about it later when he's calm. Anyway, no one needs the stress. I read it and don't say anything. So come later in the day, I'm not happy at all, over cleaning up and doing everything for the entitled kids and EM. EM notices and gets cross with me for being distant about it all. This is what happened. You need to let it go. But it's happening all the time. Why don't you do something about it? Because they need to choose to do the right thing. What? What are you going to do about it? Well, I'll leave if it doesn't stop. I'm not stopping you. It isn't fair everyone keeps telling me what to do with my kids. Well, doing nothing about their bad behavior is a bad parenting move. No, it isn't. I know they'll do the right thing. You just need to let it go. So you're telling me that I have to make a change and allow them to keep treating me like a piece of trash? Yes, they're just babies. So we can't even meet in the middle? If you could meet all the expectations, then maybe you would have an argument for that. I need to know what you plan to do. Okay, alright. I have to go. I'm sick of being judged by everyone because I don't do what people think I should do. She just left. I'm sitting in the bathroom thinking, I don't feel anything anymore. I just feel numb from it. I'm probably in the wrong, knowing how I apparently perceive things. I'll update when there's more. So after I wrote this, I decided to call my parents and actually seek advice from them, as they both have experience in this from what I learned in the conversation. I'm the youngest of 8 in a blended family, but never grew up with any of my older siblings. They also live 2,000 plus kilometers away from me. My dad gave me some great advice. Use one of my audio recorders, a former radio announcer, and he has a lot of gear from those days whenever I interact with the entitled kids and gather a cache of evidence. In a couple of weeks, sit down, EM with a third party as a mediator and go through the evidence with her. And in very black and white terms, ask her what she's going to do and give the ultimatum then and there. If she says no, walk. In the meantime, I'll be gathering my resources to prepare for the worst. I would also like to point out, as a couple of you say they believe the EK1 about me being abusive. Even EM knows I'm not abusive. My anger is usually in the form of stomping off or yelling, "Shut up!" Here's a quick story. The way our house is designed, the kids' rooms are at one end and our shared office space is at the exact opposite. I was in the office with EM working on something. EK1 didn't know I was in there and started throwing himself against the door and yelling, "Stop hitting me, OP!" I looked at EM and both of us recorded it on our phones. What EK1 wanted to do was get me out because at the time I was enforcing a chore chart. So before I add to the story, I have to say I am so appreciative of all those who have reached out. You all have been able to help me see what I have to do. So today, EM and I had another blue, all over me standing up for the boundaries I've put in to protect myself. Spent about an hour of her justifying to me that her kids can say whatever to me and that I'm lucky to not have to discipline them. Because I'm forced to, take them places to do whatever they want. I essentially said, I'm over with this trash. EM then got angry with me for having a verbal discussion in private with her, in our own home about it all because she can't put her thoughts together properly. Me, trying to make sure I hadn't missed anything, said that maybe we need marriage counseling. EM's response was, if you think counseling is needed, you go by yourself and fix you. Seriously guys, I know my rose-tinted glasses have splintered now. All I see is an entitled, spoiled person that shares my last name and is raising my kids. We'll be seeing a lawyer this week and organizing my physical needs. We will keep you updated. So EM just called me to tell me she needs to add me to a large loan ASAP. I feel like this is forcing my hand. So I've drafted a letter. What do you think? EM, I don't know where to start. Life has been weird for a long time now. You said you needed me to make a decision, and so I'm here now with one. I think we need to separate. I'm not happy with this marriage. I know you're not either. I'm struggling to see any possible way out of us being miserable. We disagree on too many things and cannot communicate. I'm not going to sit here and type out who's doing what wrong. I honestly think we're not well matched anymore, and I should have seen the signs pointing to that earlier. I'm grateful for the 2 boys you've helped raise with me, and I want to never stop co-parenting them with you. I just can't be in a house anymore where I don't feel comfortable or happy. I know I can be closed off. I know I can be standoffish, but whenever I have brought up a feeling or concern, I never would feel accepted or understood. I know this is because we're very different people. I want to work with you on providing for my boys with everything they need, and I want to still be a part of their life. I'm not like your ex and won't put you through what he has done because I know both of us can be fair. I'm sorry that this has come to this, but I'm not happy at all. I can't continue to live like this and be a suitable father for the boys. They deserve the best me. Again, I'm sorry for this. I'm only trying to do what's best. And the final update. So I've made a plan. I'm going to talk to EM on Tuesday. I've made a budget and know where I sit for the moment. I'm currently applying for homes to rent that are suitable for me and the 2 little ones. She came back home from a weekend away tonight and she's just been wandering the house being grumpy and, as she says, frustrated. Wish me luck. Wow, I hope this man is doing well and that his relationship is getting better. But I mean, what annoys me the most about this post in particular is that people can be so two-faced. They can act completely differently in different situations, and you don't really get to know the real them until you're living with them and you're facing day-to-day problems like raising kids. And just saying that kids can do whatever is unacceptable. Honestly, that's really bad parenting. Alright guys, thanks for chilling with me. I hope you enjoyed this installment of r/EntitledParents, and if you did, subscribe to the channels for Reddit videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Also, if there's something you liked in particular, tell me about it down in the comments below and leave your own stories. I would love to hear them. But for now, that's it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.